There are a lot of satisfying moments in anime, but specifically I'd like to point out the lives of transfer students, how they get treated upon enrolling into the academy, then being respected and treated fairly just like others. Be it a commoner, orphan, or wherever they are from or have been through in the past, it's all about showing your worth against whoever challenges that protagonist. So today's video will be returning to recommend from the previous topic that I did, 10 anime where the protagonist is an overpowered transfer student. If you are new around here, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, which is the icon turned on, to stay up to date with the latest anime news and recommendations right at your doorstep. Now, without keeping you all waiting, let us begin with the video. Starting this list off with an anime series by the name of Star Driver, an anime original series developed by Studio Bones in 2011, and the series has been a polarizing coaster ride of an anime. It's like a homage to various 70s mecha anime. Everything about the series screams of classic Japanese mecha and superhero, while many modern elements, for better or worse, are also incorporated. The surprise is everything just clicks. Star Driver may initially seem like an interesting proposition, but many of the plot themes are never fully realized, which only makes worse the fact that there is simply too much going on in the storyline. The series makes some rather nice subtextual, introductions at certain points, but no matter how important these may be to plot or character development, they're never really fully utilized and thus become the equivalent of being kinda useless. But on the other hand, you guys might still enjoy it in the end. Qualedia Code is pretty standard, but not unbearably standard. While the character designs may look quite generic, even if it wasn't produced by A1 Pictures, and the clothing imply a school setting for the sake of simplicity, is not giving them unique clothing. Now, the anime isn't actually a school-setting anime and instead focuses on 6 characters divided into 3 groups which run and defend their respective districts. After an attack by a species known as unknowns, humanity is able to organize itself and create a stronghold which is under constant attack by these unknown creatures. This time, however, they've gained a power known as their world, which allows them to combat these unknown. Thanks to these powers, they actually make light work of their attackers, or so they think. But for an anime original, it's not as bad as you think, and some will definitely find it quite enjoyable. One of the many problems happening currently in the anime industry is just the tendency to overuse stereotypes and themes, and many of the studios in Japan continue to operate under the idea that the shows they create will generate a profit in some manner, such as the famous genre known as isekai, with the abundance of shows each season. But today, we're talking about an anime known as Infinite Stratos. Set in the near future, the story initially seems to be about powered exoskeletons called Infinite Stratos, an advanced piece of technology that is more powerful than any existing weaponry, but only can be used by girls and women. Because of this, society and the world had to adapt so that females are now in authority. But all of that changes when the main protagonist, Ichika, a 50-year-old student, is found to be the only male in the world with the ability to pilot those machines. Because of this, and for his own protection, he is forced to actually attend that academy full of girls in the Infinite Stratos Academy. Shokugeki no Soma also goes by the name of Food Wars. I'd like to kind of summarize this show as cooking battles with the addition of ecchi, where the characters get their clothes torn off because of how delicious the food actually looks. What this show brings forth to the table is more than just a delicious meal though. Shokugeki no Soma is a just a battle shonen series that emphasizes more than just cooking. It all starts with a young boy named Soma Yukihira. Like many young people, he has a dream, and in this case, to become a professional world-class chef. In fact, he actually hopes to surpass his father, and to do that, he enlists at an elite culinary school, an academy. More precisely known as Totsuki Culinary Academy. It's where here, Soma finds his true challenges and misadventures. It's one of my all-time favorite shonen series that I highly recommend to watch. But remember, make sure to eat beforehand. Toei Animation developed World Trigger back in 2014, and while the quality of its visuals may not be the best, the next seasons improved massively in its looks, and I can very much appreciate this. Sadly though, it is quite underrated, and a lot of people dropped it at the start because of the way it looked. World Trigger starts off really slow, introducing its world, concept, also characters, before kicking off into the actual conflict. Enemies come from another dimension, people set up an organization to also stop them. Things get even more interesting when Kuga, the main protagonist, transfers into the academy. The underestimated protagonist who has insane power and scored high among everyone in a variety of exams. The power system is actually also quite interesting for the series. Fighting series are defined and remembered by their power systems, and World Trigger is absolutely no different. I could definitely say that Noblesse was a very fun and enjoyable watch. Nothing spectacular, but nothing awful either. This is known to be one of the biggest webtoon series there is currently out there. For it to get an anime adaptation was probably the day everyone got so excited. But the big question is, did it actually fulfill and adapt the series to its best? I'd say definitely not, but it had its ups and downs. The whole season is an absolute mess though. You would have to actually go back and watch the previous OVAs, which are also a mess that is just jammed together and cut very short. I think they kind of massacred this adaptation if you ask me, but hey, that's just me. Still though, I kind of like the whole setting of the overpowered protagonist pretending to be a normal high school student when he is actually a very powerful being. It didn't have the greatest visuals, but still, it was a decent watch. Spirit Chronicles itself is a typical isekai style show, but has more connection to the previous world, especially as evident in the final episode. But I must say that the show is very typical throughout and rushes a few bits like the school arc, but it isn't that bad necessarily. The art is pretty good overall, is very consistent and nicely animated in fight scenes, but what I want to explain is about how clean the plot is. But you might think that it's lazy to make such a simple plot, but being simple in the world of infinite possibilities is actually one of the hardest things to do. The author brilliantly starts and ends an arc without a single space for the sense of uncomfortableness to fit in. Yes, it might be cliche, but the cleanest of it is also something we need to give credit to the author. Even with a short runtime of just 12 minutes per episode and a complete lack of promotion, I'd say, for lovers of stupid, senseless, switch off your brain comedies, Cheating Craft is easily a barrel of laughs and jaw-dropping goodness. Cheating Craft takes place in a world where cheating is serious business, and I mean serious. There are those who can learn, and there are those who can cheat. Everything is fair in love and, war and exams, from pen tranquilizer guns to x-ray glasses, from making origami weapons to training an insect army. It's crazy, I tell you. The otherworldly cheating kung fu skills elevate the premise to higher realms of fun, campy silliness. Keep in mind though, it is still quite mediocre overall, but not the worst I've seen, and if you ask me, it could definitely be worth a shot.
彼らが試験に背中を向けることはないのだ。
Well, at first glance, this series has the harem and ecchi genres together, and when it involves both of these kind of categories, I wouldn't expect too much about the story and character development, but a good and fun enjoyment and laughter at the same time. As you know, it's more of a fan service type of anime, but I wouldn't really recommend anyone who is looking for a fantastic story and a good character development for this anime. The story progression is quite how you would have guessed as the episodes progress, yet I think it is rather interesting of how the characters are able to use their unique ability. Now, the protagonist has the unique weapon of a shield, while everyone else seems to have a better weapon, more for aggression, while he is stuck at blocking or even defending. Yet of course, there's always a twist, because just like the Rising of the Shield Hero, this high school boy is indeed a powerhouse not to be messed with. And now finally on the list I'm recommending to you all is Akashic Records. This series takes off in an academy life setting. From the first few episodes, the series doesn't really hide the personality of the main character, Glenn Radars. But to put it straightforward, he acts extremely childish. His personality is very sarcastic, lazy, and seems to never be able to stand still. However, Glenn has shown that he is capable of an instructor with a decent knowledge of magic, and is in essence, he has a good heart to help his students. So I guess in a way, he's able to walk between the line of a lazy and childish to a guy that his students can pretty much rely on. Unfortunately though, my early impressions of Glenn, the protagonist of the series, is that he is very difficult to take seriously and is someone that can barely act his age. Though it still has some of the usual tropes and cliches, there was something different just about the plot and characters which are very well done that I liked, that kept me hooked throughout. It is without a doubt one of the better light novel adaptations out there. Looks like you just made it to the end of the video and witnessed 10 anime where the protagonist is an overpowered transfer student. If I've managed to leave any anime out in particular that you thought would be a great addition on the list, then please let me know in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear your opinion. Or just comment down below what you thought about the video in general, as I'd always appreciate the feedback. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one.